But any other things you want to talk about from that game?
Nah, nothing else from that game. Just ready to see how both teams respond. This is a big win for Florida. Mm-hmm. Let's see they continue to take care of business, and then how they do the following week. Next weekend, they got to go to Kentucky. I'm trying to see, who does Florida have this weekend?
So Florida has a home game against Charlotte. They should take care of Charlotte.
They should take care of business, and then they go to Kentucky, and that's going to be a big game for both teams.
Yeah,
2 SEC East teams duking it out for positioning, and it's going to be Kentucky's first real challenge. I think, Kentucky should beat Vanderbilt this weekend, and then they play Florida. Florida's been tested. They've been in the trenches.
Yeah,
they've gone up against a couple of ranked opponents now, and bounced back to take care of business against one. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot of people. I feel like were ready to give Kentucky that W because after seeing the first game, Florida ain't gonna be nobody.
Right.
All right. And you can't do that now, man.
They took care of Tennessee. They're gonna take care of Charlotte this week handily, like I said. So,
if they beat Charlotte 46-7 or something really, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, if you watch the game and they just got out in front of them 14-0 first quarter, and they just go on and just continue to whoop them.
Yep.
Look out. Look out.
So
that's what's been missing across the conference is someone just dominating somebody from beginning to end.
Right. Absolutely. And they got a chance to build off of that victory last week. So I think this is just the beginning for a team like Florida to, excel throughout the season. So we'll see.
I agree.
We will see. But yeah, that was Tennessee taking on Florida this past weekend. So we'll see how both teams fare as we keep going on throughout the college football season. But one other SEC game during the weekend, Chris, we will talk about those Georgia Bulldogs down in Athens. Number 1 Georgia taking on South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Hey, who knew South Carolina was going to give Georgia a game like that? But
hey, that's what happens when when one team kind of takes advantage of another team's weakness. Yeah. South Carolina, they knew, Beamer, he knew how he wanted to attack Georgia early. This is a Georgia team that struggles with getting a pass rush, more so than they've done. Georgia's always had pass rushers,
right?
They just don't have that one dominant guy that's just getting back there consistently right now. Not to say they don't have one on the roster. Somebody might emerge, but that hasn't happened yet.
Right, it hasn't.
And it played out. That first drive, Spencer went 8 for 8, drove the ball downfield for a touchdown. So South Carolina, they have some players. They came out, punched Georgia in the face, but Georgia responded like you want a national championship team to respond in the second half.
Yeah, they came out the gate in the second half and literally made the right adjustments to take care of that football game. Yeah, they woke up in that game. So Georgia defeated South Carolina 24-14. I go over some of the stats, Chris. So Spencer Rattler, he was 22 for 42, 256 yards, threw for a touchdown, threw for 2 interceptions. So he was trying, but it wasn't enough from him to make sure that they could make the possible plays to win the game. But when he was accurate, he made sure to keep his team in the game. So that was pretty much his stats. Carson Beck, he was 27 for 35, threw for 269 yards, no touchdowns. So you can kind of see the difference in between the two quarterbacks over the weekend. I say Carson, the throws he needed to make, and this is just usually what Georgia does. The throws he needed to make were the throws that helped them win the football game. Yep.
Yep. Nothing flashy, nothing special. Georgia still, extremely talented. But they have their problems though too. The Dogs have their problems. Nobody is just on a level where they can't be beat.
No,
I would not be shocked if there's this playoff. Everybody has at least one loss. That's not shocking at all this year. I feel like if everybody would have has at least a loss to their name going into the playoff.
It's possible at this point.
We see how the first 3 weeks just played out. In South Carolina, Georgia is notoriously a game. Georgia fans circle on the schedule like, oh Lord. South Carolina again. That game can cause trouble. It has caused trouble for years.
It's just because historically, you don't know what you're going to get from a South Carolina team, usually. Like, they are, in the SEC, they are one of those trap teams that you just got to circle every year. You don't know what you're going to get out of South Carolina. You might get bad South Carolina. You might get, like, souped up Madden Ultimate Team South Carolina. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. And that's what should make a lot of teams scared when they play South Carolina year in and year out. So, they gave their best. They took their shots downfield when they needed to, but once again, Georgia found a way to squeak out this game with a W.
Yep.
So
I think if you're South Carolina, we're not into moral victories, of course, but they should feel good as they get ready to play Mississippi State this weekend. You went toe to toe with Georgia, and they have to play desperate.
You're at home.
I'm at home. I don't know. I know this probably is one of our matchups that we have highlighted for later in the show to talk about. But this is the Desperation Bowl. This is the two most desperate teams in the conference playing against each other. Am I not mistaken? Like, if South Carolina loses this game, what is their record? Are they 1-3?
They're 1-3.
You lose to North Carolina, Georgia, and Mississippi State.
Yes.
They are 1-3 at that point.
Yep. You don't want to be 1-3.
You don't want to be 1-3.
You don't want to be 1-3 because if you are, we got some issues.
Oh, and then Mississippi State, after you just got shellacked, embarrassed at home. If you lose to South Carolina, you're now 2-2. You getting ready to play Alabama?
Yeah.
No, you're 3. Yeah, you're 3-2. You'll be 3-2.
No, you'll be 3-1.
No, because they beat Arizona and they beat Southeastern, and then LSU was week 3. So
yeah. You're saying if Mississippi State goes in and beats South Carolina?
Oh, they beat South Carolina at 3-1, but if they lose, they're 2-2.
Yeah, they're 2-2.
And Alabama is around the corner. Granted, it looks like a game that if you play well, you have a chance of winning.
Right.
But when is the last time Mississippi State played well against Alabama? 2017, right before Mullen left his last year.
That was probably the best that I've ever seen them play against Alabama outside of the Croom years. That's a long time ago. Probably listeners on this show was not even around then.
They're like, who's Croom? What are you talking about? Yeah, that was a long time ago. So these are the two most desperate teams in the conference, though, in my eyes. Yeah. They both need that game. And a game that has no national ramifications. As just someone who loves college football in the SEC, I am completely invested in watching that game. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens now. I mean, like they gave it their all against Georgia. No one, wouldn't have thought that South Carolina was going to,
they would have thought that'd be like a 35-3 or 35-10. Right. Based off what we saw against North Carolina.
Yeah, but yeah. No one, no one knew that they were going to take Georgia, down to the wire the way that they did, but they did. So if you're Mississippi State and you gotta, draw up a game plan against South Carolina, and you're South Carolina and you're pissed after what happened last Saturday, you're going in with a very serious move.
I'm telling you right now, if Mississippi State continues to not be able to throw that football, if they can't throw the ball, South Carolina will beat them 35-10.
Yes.
Might not be close.
Might be more than that.
It might not be close. Mississippi State can't get a pass rush. If they cannot get a pass rush and they continue to have the woes they have, it will be an injustice if Zach Arnett does not put Mike Wright in the ball game by the second quarter. If they continue to struggle, Mike Wright needs to be the quarterback because the offensive line for Mississippi State is not as good as it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And at least with him, he gives you the ability to scramble and to compensate for the line being not as good, not being where you want it to be at this point, with it being an experienced O-line.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. We're going to come back to that game. We need to mark that game for us to talk about next week.
I will do that. I will make that my calling for next week. We'll definitely dive into the game and talk about it more. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Chris, any other things that you wanted to talk about with Georgia? Anything?
I mean, Georgia responded the way I wanted to see them respond as the better team that second half. So. Yeah. Curious to see, how this kind of carries over moving forward. Maybe they use it to start dominating teams. Maybe it's a moment, or maybe Georgia's just not as good as they were last year, understandably. And maybe this will continue to be the thing where they have some tight matchups throughout the season. We'll see.
Maybe so. I mean, they still ran the ball really well. I mean, they stuck to the guns. On the ground and took over that game. Edwards, he had 20 carries, 118 yards, and a touchdown. So
you're not going to complain about that.
You're not going to complain about that if you're a Georgia fan. Like, we can run the ball, but I can see a little bit, for Georgia fans that are out there. You want to throw the football. You want to be as balanced. Throw the football,
and you're used to your D-line just going to work, just going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been there this year yet.
No.
So we'll see if things can get better on with their front four.
Right. So we'll see. We will see, my friend. So yeah. Now that we've gotten some of the top games out of the way, I can go ahead and go through the rest of the top 25 scores over the weekend. So we got Miami on a Thursday night game last week. They defeated Bethune-Cookman 48-7. Michigan defeated Bowling Green 31-6. This was
still waiting to see waiting to see Michigan really just assert themselves. You know, they've been winning games, but it hasn't been sexy.
No.
It hasn't been pretty.
No. I will say this. Jim Harbaugh will make his return this coming week.
After a 3-game suspension.
Yeah, after his 3-game suspension. So that should only help elevate this team.
For sure.
Which is something that they need. So
yeah.
So I would hope having your head coach back out there on the sidelines will motivate them.
It'll be a huge lift. I hate to be playing Michigan this week.
Yeah.
If there's a week probably to take Michigan and for them to beat the spread, it might be this week because the guys are going to be juiced up. So You're right.
Right. So we'll see when old Harbaugh comes back on the field. We'll definitely see how Michigan elevates throughout the season. So I like their team so far. This was an interesting one, Chris. So Florida State plays Boston College. Beat them in a nail biter. I would say 31-29. Did you get a chance to watch that game?
I did, boy. Boston College fumbled the bag. They had 18 penalties that game, man.
Yeah.
They shot themselves. They shot all the toes off their feet. They didn't have a toe left. It was just foot, just there.
Just
no
toes.
Just nubs.
Oh my
Boston
God.
College they are still sick right now. I know you're getting ready for the next game, but man, they squander that. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Florida State somehow won that game. I mean, they made plays when they needed to, but man, BC blew it.
Look, that's probably their motto now over in Boston College. At BC, we blow every game that we have on our schedule, even when we do have opportunity to win. So
they should have won that game.
Yeah, I agree.
Good win for Florida State though. So somehow,
they survived
getting the win. Every top team has it. Every top team has a game. We look back at the schedule and you're like, man, we won it.
Yep.
That's all that matters.
That's all
so
that
maybe
matters.
That'll be this game for them.
Right. A win is a win. You'll take it any way that you can, I'll say. So So that was a game between Florida State and Boston College. So number 4, Texas defeated Wyoming 31-10.
Another one, if you were watching, you're like, well, if you win, you win, because it wasn't the prettiest win.
It wasn't, and I was talking to some friends today about that game, and they were like, man, I just don't understand why Texas is like this great second half team. Like, for some reason, the first half and the second half they're just so different. Like, they're not the same. Like,
yeah.
Like, you do not want to see them in the second half. And who knows, maybe it was that Texas heat that got them conditioned well.
I'm curious if it was just the hangover of the Bama win. Like, maybe we're going to learn soon. Is this the identity of Texas? Slow first halves, turn it up in a second? Or is this just them coming off the Bama win? And, sometimes you have a little bit of a letdown, and it takes the second half to lock in. So we'll see.
We'll see.
You're around that team more than I am, so it's funny. You say you feel like that might just be them this year. If that's the case, it's going to be a stressful ass season for every Longhorn fan that you know.
Look, I literally think that's just their like their identity. Like I think they come out a little relaxed in the first half, and then like they just wake up at halftime and they're like, "Oh, it's time to play," and then they just like turn it up to the max, and they just look unbeatable.
I understand why that happens. Like you got AD Mitchell and Xavier Worthy on the outside. Like you got some legit dudes.
Yeah, you got some dudes.
So like when they turn it up, they turn it up.
Right.
So I can see how that ends up happening sometimes.
Yeah.
You're too talented for your own good. but the difference between being talented and being a great team is just being there from the jump. So I want to see them just smack somebody like. A school quality opponent, just 55-7. Yeah. Like just go crazy.
Right, a quality opponent too. Quality opponent. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see what the Longhorns do throughout the season. So yeah. Number 6, Ohio State defeats Western Kentucky 63-10. Kyle McCord has a big day. He threw for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, hey, I think
Buckeyes fans, I'm sure they feel better after seeing that. Yeah. That's what you needed to see.
Yeah, I think Kyle is a worthy player at the quarterback position for the Buckeyes. So I look for him to really, help that team excel in the passing game. So I think Ryan Day has found his quarterback.
I mean, this is just his third start, right? I mean, this is early in the season, just finding his way. Ohio State is a team to look out for moving forward if they can really catch fire offensively with the receivers they have. They got 2 of the best receivers in the country.
Yeah.
If Kyle continues to progress, look, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
They got a squad. I mean, it's Ohio State, so we'll just see how the season continues. But I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about Ohio State in the playoffs. I mean, like it's like I just said, it's OSU, like it's Ohio State, man.
Right.
They're going to be right there in the mix every year. So,
I mean, they got the players to do it. I like Henderson at running back. I mean, he had a decent day, 13 carries, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, we already know about Marvin Harrison Jr. Like that dude's a beast. I mean, he had 5 receptions and 126 yards with a touchdown. Just 5 receptions. Sure hands. Like, he gonna get you over 100 yards. So, I look at this team like there's nowhere else but up, honestly, for them. And they just needed a couple weeks to get their feet wet, figure out the position at quarterback. I think that's straightened out now. All they have to do is capitalize off of all of this experience that they've gotten over the last couple weeks. So I think that they can do it.
I think they'll be good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So number 7, Penn State defeated Illinois 30-13. Michael Penix Jr.
Good win for them. Yeah. Good win for Penn State.
Yeah. We'll see what Penn State does going forward throughout the season. So, Michael Penix Jr. and the Washington Huskies defeated Michigan State 41-7. This was a game I wanted just to see how Michigan State would handle all of the news about
Coach Tucker, everything going on.
Yeah, by him getting fired and everything and stuff. So they had no answer for Michael Penix Jr. Big day for him. threw for 473 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, hey, to him, that's an excellent day. That's just taking care of business.
He's playing some unreal football right now.
Exactly.
Oof. Yeah, he's doing the thing. So, shout out to him.
Exactly. So yep. Number 9, Notre Dame defeated Central Michigan 41-17. Sam Hartman threw for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. So big day for Hartman.
We get to see Notre Dame, Ohio State this weekend.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
At Notre Dame.
Yep, that's one of the big games that we'll definitely talk about in a little while as we wrap up the show. Number 12, Utah defeated Weber State 31-7. Number 13, Oregon defeated Hawaii 55-10. Bo Nix had a really good day, threw for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that was Bo Nix's day as they get ready for Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes this coming Saturday. So
good game by Bo.
Yeah, a really good game. Number 14, LSU has to go into Starkville, Chris. Beats them down 41-14.
It was not nice.
Yes, Jaden Daniels, monster day. 361 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. Look, Malik Neighbors, 13 receptions, 239 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm talking about, like, Daniels just threw it in the air and like, hey, just play technical on these guys.
It was like they didn't even game plan for them. For it's like Mississippi State didn't even game plan for LSU. We know Malik Neighbors is that man. Why is he being isolated with the safety? There was times Malik Neighbors had a safety on him.
I know, which is not good.
Boy, it ain't good when you got your number 2 corner on him, let alone your safety.
I don't know. They had no adjustments at all.
It was bad.
Throughout the whole game. Like, offense was bad, defense was bad. Like, they had no answer for LSU. So I have to tip my hat off.
Big LSU. LSU did what they were supposed to do. You're a more talented team. You always, for years and years, have whooped up on Mississippi State, and it was another day at the office for LSU. Good win for Brian Kelly. Another team to look out for. You take an early season loss, but they still have everything they want to do in front of them the rest of the season.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Do not overlook LSU.
No. I advise no one to look over LSU. They're looking good right now. Missouri was at home, Chris. This was a great game. This was a great game, of course, if you were watching this game. So Missouri was at home hosting number 15 Kansas State, and they defeat Kansas State 30-27, and they hit a 61-yard field goal because of Harrison Mevis. And I remember this guy last year. Knocks a 61-yarder. And, boy, those people in Missouri went insane.
Eli got his win, man.
Yep.
Coach Drink got the win.
Hey, another guy I had to tip my cap off to. Eli Drinkwitz. Look, he really knows how to take you down to a wire with some of these games. I'm not gonna lie. He knows doing it.
He does. You're going to see an entertaining game if you're watching Missouri.
Yeah.
But yeah, big win for them, man. This is what that program needed. They had so many games where they were right there, so close to getting that win. Last year against Kentucky at home, was that Auburn when you lose the ball heading into the end zone to get the game-winning touchdown, it becomes a touchback.
Yeah, like these games where you're just like right there, like you're so close,
literally
in winning and sealing the deal, and you just come up short. This wasn't that day.
They did it. They got the win against a really good K-State team.
Mm-hmm.
It was a back and forth battle.
Yeah.
And Missouri pulled it off. What's my boy Burton at wide receiver for them?
Yeah. Luther Burton,
the 5-star kid.
Yeah.
Yes. The one you will see. That's a Sunday player. Everybody get used to that name. He will be playing on Sundays. You'll have him on your fantasy teams one day.
He had
Luther Burton is a bad boy.
Yeah, 7 receptions, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, watch Burton.
Mm-hmm.
He's an exceptional player.
But that's the thing, man. Eli done got on some guys out there, some real legit 5-star players, some top-tier athletes. And you sprinkle some of them guys in, man, with some gems. You get in the recruiting trail, take care of business in state. You sprinkle in some of that top-tier talent. Burton is actually a St. Louis kid, I believe. So you keep him from being poached by somebody, another big program. You took care of business and kept a talent like him home. It's a recipe.
What's cooking?
Yeah.
For you to have something come together. And look, like we already said, the SEC is down this year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it could be the making of one of them 9-3, 10-2 kind of years for Missouri. We'll see.
We'll see.
It's not outside the realm of possibility. Every coach has that year where their team goes like 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
Every program in the SEC, you have it at some point where you go like 9-3, 10-2, when you normally maybe get 7, 6, 7, maybe 8 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this could be that year for Missouri, man. It's lining up nicely. It's for the opportunity is there because there's not many teams better than Kansas State, being real with you.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really disciplined, well-coached football team, and you beat them.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying.
It's interesting. Like yeah, the job that Eli Drinkwitz has done with Missouri and getting the talent that he's gotten to be a part of the Tigers, it's only helping him out as much as possible. And he beating top 15 teams like Kansas State, teams like you said that they are very efficient. They do things in a very efficient manner, and they try not to make many mistakes. And you beat teams like that, hey, I can't knock you for that. Like those are big wins. Those are wins that you need to really get your team up each week and feeling good about themselves. So
it becomes bigger than this is what we're building. It becomes this is who we are.
Right.
Like everything coach has been preaching to get them to this point is becoming real.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be curious to see like how the team responds to like, okay, we really can get these wins. Like we got that win.
Exactly.
How do they respond to winning? So we'll see.
We'll see. Program defining wins like that will only help your program. So it was a good day for Missouri. And if you're a Missouri fan as well, listening to the show, you're really happy right now with what you're seeing on the field. So we'll definitely see going forward what happens with Missouri. Number 16, Oregon State defeats San Diego State 26-9. It's a pretty good day for DJ Uiagalelei. 284 yards through the air, threw for a touchdown. He did throw for 2 interceptions, but hey,
he has to clean that up. Yeah,
they're definitely gonna have to clean that up, but they still got the win. So we'll see what happens with Oregon State right now. They're one of those sleeper teams. I'd say
They are under the radar.
they're just kind of hanging out in the Pac-12 right now, just kind of chilling, just waiting to strike. So
you're right. You're right. They're gonna let everybody else get a piece of Colorado. They'll come around and get them later on.
Oh yeah, they waiting. They waiting for the moment. DJ is waiting, so we'll definitely see what happens with the Beavers throughout the season. Number 17, Ole Miss, Chris, defeats Georgia Tech 48-23. Haynes King, which former Texas A&M quarterback, now Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, Haynes King. He threw for a lot of yards in this game. Like, there were times where, because I was watching this game a little bit, there was times that I thought Georgia Tech was really going to, and
missed some opportunity.
Yeah, there were times that they were getting down the field against Ole Miss, but they couldn't capitalize it. So, he had 307 yards and 2 touchdowns, but
could have been a bigger day for him.
Yeah, it could have been a bigger day, I'd say. But Ole Miss, they took care of business at home. Yeah, they took care of business at home. Jackson Dart, he had 14 carries, which is funny. He had more carries than Quinshawn did. like let me look at these stats just to make sure, because
I'll tell you this much.
Yeah, he did.
That won't happen this week.
No, it's not. It's not gonna happen. Like, Lane is already he watched the game on Saturday. You already know what he was doing. He was like,
I can guarantee you that much.
He got his little pad, Chris, and he's like, all right.
Y'all might have about 8 or 9 carries, but Judkins will have 8 or 9 more.
He's like, about 20 to 30 carries, Quinshawn. All right, I think this is what we're going to do.
Yes, it's going to be more like that for sure. But yeah, good win for Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? Take care of business, take care of home field.
Yeah. They didn't look ahead.
Now you get ready to go to T-Town.
Yep. Absolutely. So
go to Tuscaloosa. So we'll see. We'll talk about that.
We'll see. Number 19, Oklahoma defeats Tulsa 66-17. Number 20, North Carolina defeats Minnesota 31-13. Drake May, he had a monster day. Threw for 414 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also threw for 2 picks. But
don't sleep on Carolina. Yeah. They have a ferocious. The D line gets after it, and you have a quarterback who's going to probably be a top 10 pick.
Absolutely.
That's a recipe, man, for a ball club to make some noise. So we'll see. We'll see.
Number 21, Duke defeated Northwestern 38-14. Number 23, Washington State defeated Northern Colorado 64-21. 24, UCLA defeated North Carolina Central 59-7. And to wrap up, we got number 25, Iowa defeating Western Michigan 41-10. So those were all of your scores.
Iowa put up 41 points.
Yeah. Jeez. Hey. Hey, it was a big day for them. Hey, they were playing Madden during the weekend.
Maybe they got NCAA early. We still waiting for it to hit the streets, but maybe they got it early.
Hey, so. they already trying out some of the new plays, of course, on Western Michigan. So that's unfortunate for Western Michigan, I'd say.
Yeah, unfortunate, but yeah, good win for Iowa there. putting points on the board.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. I feel like over the years we just become accustomed to Iowa not really scoring for real, winning ugly games. So good to see them.
Yeah.
Making that happen.
Absolutely. But yeah. Before we kind of wrap up and talk about our Week 4 matchups, Chris, I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of a couple of FCS scores over the weekend as well. We had North Dakota State defeating Central Arkansas 49-31. Youngstown State defeated Robert Morris 48-28. South Dakota State, defeated Drake 70-7. So they were also playing Madden as well. And we also had Hampton defeating Howard 35-34. So,
ooh, geez, that was a game right there.
Yeah, it was. So those were some of the games in FCS over the week. So yeah, man. Do you want us, before we just kind of talk about some of the top games heading into Week 4, do you want me to kind of give out a rundown of the rankings? Because we just had the brand new college football rankings come out on Sunday.
You can I would say you can just hit on them real quick. Just give us
Yeah. Well, I'll just go on a quick rundown of what's changed.
Or maybe you can give us maybe the top. Yeah, give us what's changed. Maybe some stuff that sticks out.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody probably knows the poll, but just for those who don't, just give us something that sticks out.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Florida got knocked down one spot, so they're number 4 now, which would make your top 4. Yeah. Which would make your top 4 if there was a college football playoff rankings, and this was the rankings. It would be Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Texas 3, and Florida State 4. So that would be your top 4. So,
gotcha. So look at that Bama brand still hanging true, and Texas sitting there at number 3.
Yeah.
After beating Bama. Yeah. And Bama didn't look too hot against South Florida, but hey.
Right. Hey, be that way sometimes.
It do be that way sometimes.
But yeah, Alabama was 10 last week. They got knocked down 3 spots, so now they're number 13 now, heading into a game with Ole Miss. So,
jeez.
Yeah. So, Colorado got knocked down 1 spot. They're number 19 now.
Number 19, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
And
not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And we got Tennessee. They got knocked down 12 spots. So now they are at number 23, with Florida getting into the top 25 at 25.
So. And is Missouri, they received votes?
Missouri, they have 72 receiving votes. So, they're squeaking into the top 25. So we'll see how the season goes for them.
Okay.
So, all right. And Clemson's kind of on the outside looking in, trying to make a statement. Right? Yeah. So hey, if they take care of business and they beat Florida State, that's a big win for Dabo and his squad. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much some of the notes from the new AP Top 25. So that now leaves us to
to go into Florida State Clemson.
Yeah, matchups for Week 4. Big week.
Florida State, Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
That's an early game.
Yep.
Uh,
Colorado versus Oregon. 2:30 p.m. game on ABC.
So 2:30 Central, 3:30 for my Eastern time people with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then nighttime, Ohio State at Notre Dame, I believe at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, touch on Florida State, Clemson. Seeing Boston College give Florida State a game makes this matchup a little more interesting. We know Clemson has some talented guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of can they put it together to get the win. We know they have some talented players. I'm not calling the upset, but I would be lying to you if I said I would be shocked if Clemson won, because I kind of wouldn't be when you just saw Boston College right there in the ball game with Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not act like Clemson has chopped liver over there on that roster. They got 4-star guys, 5-star guys.
Yep. Yeah, hey.
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's going to this game's going to come down to how Cade Klubnik does. If he has a game like a couple weeks ago against Duke, that's not going to cut it against these guys. Like Florida State, I know whatever they had last week, playing against Boston College and everything, that happened, but that's possibly not going to happen this week. So he's going to have a near flawless game to beat Florida State.
They're going to have some guys step up and be the guys they were recruited to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
We're going to see. But I would say Florida State wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my pick. Mm-hmm. I know I'm not going out the box. I'm pretty sure most people are picking Florida State.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be Florida State close. What's the spread in this game?
So the spread right now, the line is it has FSU as a 2-point favorite in that game right now.
Vegas knows I can't take the points. I wanted to be a little more separation between them, but they have Florida State as a 2-point favorite. They know what's up. I truly think it's going to be one of those 34-31 kind of wins for Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the score being like that.
Yeah, I don't see them. I mean, they could. Jordan Travis could go in there and have a monster game against Clemson.
That's possible too. That's not outside the possibility. They could go in there and dominate them.
Yeah, he could blow them out. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but I have a hard time thinking that Clemson is just going to 100% quit in that game. I think this is going to be a season defining game for them. So they're going to have to come out with it and have a game plan to really attack Travis defensively, and Klubnik's just going to have an awesome game.
Be the guy you were recruited to be. This is why they brought you to Clemson, to win games against top 5 teams.
Right.
So we'll see if he can be that 5-star quarterback recruit that he was recruited as.
Right.
It's time to put it together and be that guy on the field. This is your team.
Yep.
At home. I'm pretty sure that, this is a home game for Clemson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a home game for Clemson. So.
Oh, yeah. Some things on your side. So let's see if Clemson can just meet the challenge.
Yeah.
I'm not predicting them to win it, but let's make this let's make this be the game that we thought it could be at the preseason.
Right. Right. Let's at least give us that.
Give us that. At least give us that.
At least give us that. Everyone else is giving us. They're all with a lot of these games. So at least give us a really good game that preseason wise we had high hopes for. So, yeah. Colorado, of course, taking on Clemson. That's going to be a big game, like we said earlier.
Yeah. Man.
The line is Oregon at a
Oregon 5.5?
No, Oregon's a 21-point favorite in that game right now.
Gee, 21.
21.
They don't have Travis. Colorado's without Travis.
Yeah,
that's a big loss. And you're at the Autzen Zoo?
Yeah, that definitely changes things.
That 7 points right there alone, I think, is the fact that it might be 10.
Mm-hmm.
That is a tough place to play at.
It is.
For Colorado's sake, it won't be nighttime. If it was at nighttime, I probably would tell you, like, Oregon in honestly a blowout now that Hunter isn't there. It still might be one.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon's look solid.
They have. I'm not going to take anything away from them.
They have looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I do think with the absence of Hunter, I say Oregon wins this game. As much as I want Colorado to continue winning, it's hard for me to pick them on the road without Travis Hunter, who's going to be like a top 5 draft pick when it's his time to leave school.
Yeah.
His absence will be felt.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And, like, they were going to need him regardless throughout the season. But in terms of games like these, program-defining games.
To beat the odds on the road.
Yeah, you got to have all hands on deck. And losing Hunter the way that you did on Saturday, it definitely hurts. So
it hurts. But I will say this. I think Sanders does go off.
I think he
goes
off because
I think this. It's hard for me to predict them getting blown out. I really don't want to. I want to. What's keeping me from saying they get blown out is Sanders. Like, I feel like Sanders has that it in him to like be like, man, no, we're not finna get blown off the field.
Right, we ain't going out like this.
I think he keeps him from going out like that, but conventional wisdom too tells you, like, dang, they just lost one of their top players. They ain't never been in an atmosphere like this before. I know we ain't never seen a coach like Coach Prime and what he's doing, but it's hard to predict them winning. You know what I'm saying? It could possibly get ugly.
Yeah.
It could.
It could.
But I also seen games where Bo Nix let teams right back in, so I don't know.
Hey, look, anything can happen at this point now, but
anything can happen. I would say I'm taking Oregon to win, but I think I will be inclined.
Yeah,
and maybe take Colorado if I'm getting 21 points. I might take Colorado if I'm a betting person, and see what happens.
Yeah, we will see. But yeah, that is a 2:30 ABC game.
You got Oregon too?
I think Oregon will win. The question is,
it's hard,
how
man.
much?
Yeah.
I am taking Oregon in that game. I do think overall Colorado is going to find out that it's just like Bo Nix and just overall that offense is just going to be a little bit too much for that defense. And you don't have Travis Hunter, which sucks. That's
a
not
big
going to
loss.
bode well. Yeah, that's going to be a big loss. And there be like just once you like when you're looking at that game, be on the lookout for Bo Nix literally throwing to that side that Travis Hunter would have been at.
Oh, if I'm Oregon, first play is a play action deep shot.
Yeah,
testing out that corner.
Yeah, he's gonna pick.
Like I'm faking a read option and I'm going deep, and we're about to see what he's made of.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna pick on that side of football a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I can't wait to watch that football game. So yeah, last game that we do want to kind of talk about, and there's a couple other games, but we can definitely talk about those as we get closer to week 4. We got Ole Miss taking on Alabama, and that game is, like we said earlier, with Alabama and all of their quarterback issues. That game is going to be interesting. They got Alabama right now as a 7-point favorite to win that game at home. And that's probably because they're at home.
Yeah. We'll see. My heart and my mind kind of tends to tell me that Alabama will win this game.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the same. Ole Miss has been putting up points, but they aren't like the same offense. I kind of feel like they were when it came to running up the scoreboard before. They still somehow get the points, but it's a little differently now.
Yeah,
and so feel like Ole Miss is good, but they aren't just great. They're a good team.
They have their issues too.
They have their issues too. They do. Bama is a good team too, but they have great talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of feel like, that the coaching staff learned a lot too this past week from South Florida.
Yeah.
And I feel like they will adjust their offense to fit Milroe. Like we said earlier, they wasted no time naming him the starter.
Mm-hmm.
So my senses, my football acumen tells me that they will put together a game plan that puts them in the best position to win this game. And it might be close for 3 quarters, but Alabama ends up winning by 14.
I can see that happening. Look, if what we saw with Roydale Williams, with leaning on him towards running the football, if that's going to be their identity throughout the rest of the season, you lean into that. And if they do that, and they allow Milroe to also be a part of that rushing offense, then it could open up some things for the pass.
If he rushes for 90 yards, Alabama wins.
Yeah. I can see that.
If Milroe rushes for 90 plus, it's just he rushes for 115 and throws for 190.
Mm-hmm.
That's Alabama to win that game. I feel like.
Yeah. I can see that they're going to try to do is see if they can get in the red zone and just let Milroe just use his athleticism to get them the points. And if that's going to work for them, that's going to work for them. Because I don't see, while Ole Miss's defense has gotten a little bit better, I still look at the athleticism of Milroe and that offensive line leaning
But
into being a power run offense. And can you
that's
handle that
true.
for 60 minutes?
But somebody working at Ole Miss has some inside knowledge on this offense. He was just there last year, Coach Golding.
Yeah.
So there's somebody who might can scheme up a game plan. I'm over here thinking about it.
He has all of the intel.
So that's something else to look out for too.
Yeah,
because there is a world where Ole Miss jumps ahead of Alabama like 14 zip, low key. That it sounds strange. I know it does. But we know Lane Kiffin offenses can punch you in the mouth real fast. Mm-hmm. We know Ole Miss notoriously, when we were in college, will jump ahead of somebody and be ahead of them like 17 zip. And then that team might come back and it become a close game at the end. Mm-hmm. But it's not no surprise if Ole Miss was to jump ahead of somebody real fast. So I can see that happening too. And that would be very interesting to see, does Alabama crumble or do they respond?
Yeah.
If somebody with the struggles they've had at quarterback, if Ole Miss was to jump ahead of them and get on their ass like 14-0, 17-0, or 21-0, what and how in the world will that team respond after the team we just saw last Saturday? That would be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. You know Lane Kiffin, he likes to start fast. That's their offense. If he can start fast, then watch out, Alabama. You got to score. And that's one of those things where it like they can run the football. I know that they can, but playing against a team like Ole Miss, you have to do more than run the football. You have to pass. And you have to be accurate as well. You don't want to be down 21.
You want to sustain drives.
Yeah.
You want to keep Judkins off the field.
Right. And that's not that's not an easy thing to do.
No. So I'm going with how I broke it down. I think it'll be a close game throughout, and then Bama pulls away. But I would not be shocked if Ole Miss won. There are so many different scenarios for these games. Like it's just that much of a toss up. I feel like with how the balance, with just how the conference is kind of down, anything can kind of happen. But Bama is at home; they should win that game.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. And it's going to be interesting. Once that game gets kicked off over in Tuscaloosa, you know, what can he do? How can that crowd respond? How is Nick Saban going to respond? Jalen Milroe, that whole team, that whole Alabama football team is going to respond, like, because you can't play like you did on Saturday against Ole Miss. Like, you might as well get ready to lose again.
And they know that.
Yeah, they know that. So we'll have to see if they have a great game plan drawn up as the Rebels come into town. So yeah, that's pretty much our top 3 games, Chris. We'll have a couple more games that we'll probably talk about on our Twitter Spaces. Before week 4 starts on Saturday. So we got a couple games. Arkansas, LSU, Oregon State taking on Washington State. That's a great matchup between 2 ranked teams. Yeah, and Iowa,
UCLA
too. Yeah,
UCLA has a big game this weekend too, right?
Yeah, they're taking on number 11 Utah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So I mean, this slate is crazy.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun weekend. You thought last
You order your pizza, get your wings, and just sit back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you thought last week was fun. This week right here, this is the full course meal right here.
Yeah, you got everything you want from noon till 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Like from noon to midnight, you're gonna get everything you want.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'll be watching.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, all right, man. Great talking with you again as always.
Yes, sir.
Had a great week 3, getting into week 4. But yeah, it was always great for us to talk college football each and every week, and always great to have you all, our listeners, listening in. So before we head out, Chris, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
You follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Chris_Bolton_12. Get at me on Instagram at Chris.Bolton_, BOLTON. And be sure, like Corey said, just tune in to our Twitter Spaces. We'll get it popping an hour before kickoff. So anybody that wants to join, talk some college football, hear what we have to say about the rest of the different matchups around the country, join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you can follow me on X as well at Listen to KSW. I'm there talking college football, professional wrestling, video games, all of that great stuff. Yeah, all of that good stuff that makes me me. So, so yeah, definitely chime in anytime you want to talk college football. Always willing to talk to you guys about any games that's going on throughout the week. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. Y'all have a great week and have a great college football weekend, because we are heading into week 4 of the college football season. So until then, we will see you guys next week.
Peace.